We're here today to meet with Senator Durbin and other leaders of the Christian and Jewish and Islamic faith community to talk about the DREAM Act, to talk about the reintroduction of that legislation, which would allow high school graduates who have been in this country for a long time a legitimate, easy path to legal status through education or military service. And we're here to talk especially about the DREAM Sabbath, which is going to be a way in which faith communities of all these Abrahamic traditions are invited to share reflection and prayer and serious conversation about why the DREAM Act matters to all of us, why it would be the best thing for our faith communities, and why really it would be the best thing for the United States.
As an evangelical, I am committed to biblical truth. Christ himself admonished us to permit the little ones, the children, to come to him, for the kingdom of heaven belongs to them. Without a doubt, Christ stood committed to the care and protection of the most vulnerable, especially children. To continue to punish children is nothing less than anti-Christian, anti-American, and at the end of the day, morally reprehensible.
Lutherans know that this is important. They believe this is important already, partly because Lutherans have immigrant roots. All Lutherans, almost all Lutherans in the United States can remember when grandparents or great-grandparents came here and struggled to get established, struggled to find a way to become Americans, struggled to learn the language, struggled to adjust to the culture. All Lutherans have that as part of their background in this country. But beyond that, today, lots of Lutherans know that there are Lutheran congregations which are entirely made up of immigrants. African immigrants and Central American immigrants, immigrants from Asia. Lutherans have a living immigrant experience at this time in the United States, and they know that this DREAM Act is important if that immigrant experience is really going to bear fruit, to be good for people, be good for the country.
And I really respect the fact that all my colleagues here, the religious community, spoke in one voice to show that we stand together in those moral values. And the Senator Durbin, thank you for the leadership. I do believe this is a moral principle, and I relate to the story of Joseph. And Joseph ended up fulfilling his dream in the other land. Therefore, we as a religious community, we stand together in solidarity, and especially the Muslim community.
The DREAM Act is envisioned to bear fruit for young people who came to this country as children, who came involuntarily. Their parents brought them or their grandparents brought them. They've never really known any other life. They're Americans in every way, except they're not citizens and they don't have a path to citizenship. And the DREAM Act says that if those kids have graduated from high school, if they've gotten into college, or if they've been accepted to serve in the military, then they should be allowed to be American citizens. They should have a free and easy path to become citizens like the rest of us, because they've already proven that they're Americans just like the rest of us.
And it feels like yesterday, when early in the morning, I was awakened with a police officer by my bed, and being rounded up around our dining room table, the same table that every week my family would sit around to read the Bible. My father is an ordained Southern Baptist Church pastor, and I grew up going to church, learning about love for our community, love for one another, love for our neighbors, and love for God. And that day, the same love that I would see my father teaching us the Bible and the ways that we needed to live, that day I saw in my father's face despair, fear, because they gave up everything they knew to come to this country for us, for their children, to provide to us opportunities that they seeked and saw was not available to us in our country, our home country. And seeing my parents and my sisters being drove off in an ICE van was one of the scariest things I have ever had to experience. But there, as I called people, I called my pastor. And with my pastor, we prayed. My youth pastor came with me and accompanied me to the ICE building where my parents and my sisters were. And they were the strength, the pillars of support that you see behind me.